Hello, everybody. Thank you so much for joining us for another one. And thank you, Artem. We have an absolute banger for everyone today. This is also going to be a slightly different one than usual. Usually, I prepare a bunch of questions and I know like everything I'm going to say, but I know Artem pretty well. He's one of my favorite people in the platform engineering community. Platform engineering ambassador, probably like the platform engineering ambassador, all caps, most dedicated one for sure. So we're mostly just going to chat, and I think it could potentially go off the rails. So we'll see where it goes. But I think, Artem, let's just kick off right with you. Like, who are you? Why are you so awesome?
Thank you very much for having me here and for the warm introduction. Too many kind words, to be honest, for me. I'm really bad at that, but thank you very much. I'm feeling really honored. To me, in short, I'm now a head of platform engineering and working for a startup called IITS Consulting, founded 2019. And yeah, now my role is we are building a product as a service provider. It's a little bit different. You're not building a product or a platform for your own. You're building a product for different customers, and we are not trying to sell it. We call it Kumo Ops. We have like a sovereign stack running on Open Telecom Cloud or now TCP. They rename it. It's now the not the best acronym, but it's like Telecom Cloud Public, something like this, TCP in short, and stack it. And so our goal is to build like a platform which is also working on different clouds, also on the hyperscaler like AWS, Azure, and GCP. And so we can scale, but not as a product for the customer, as a product for our own. So my goal is, of course, now to put all teams together, to educate them. And this is also a reason why we go for the practitioner certificate, because we needed a common ground and to start something. And now we are like restructuring, and this is what we are building now. So in short, and now, of course, I published also a book called Implementing GitOps with Kubernetes. And in the most cases, I'm doing a lot of stuff with GitOps at scale and also managing not just one cluster, fleet, and try to solve this pain. This is my kind of niche expertise area, in short, to me.
I mean, niche is a funny way to talk about GitOps. I mean, when we did the state of platform engineering report, I think it was the fourth highest area of focus for all, like literally next to, infrastructure as code. Like at this point, GitOps is definitely far from niche. And I mean, you've got a great book on the topic. We've got a fantastic course from you, which I think just came out like within the last couple of weeks. So anyone who's interested in GitOps should definitely go take a look at that. I think where I want to start is talking a little bit about. So you talk about Kumo Ops as a product and as a platform, but the challenge in this space when trying to bring a new kind of product to a customer is it isn't enough to just hand someone a product. I think we see this from so many vendors in the space. I myself used to work at a vendor and I talk to lots all the time. And you can't just sell someone a platform tool because if they don't have a good platform engineering kind of foundation or organization around them, then it isn't going to work. So I'm kind of curious around how you approach that. Like, what do you guys do to kind of
Mhm.
get through that challenge?
Our challenge is like in the past, a lot of companies called it like managed service because you have some customers, they don't have this platform team, so they want to put every reliability away from you. We don't call it managed service because it's wrong. So we call it like, or what we have or try to build is, you can imagine it's like we call it cloud SecOps as a service. So the customer getting like a portal to manage his subscription. So everything he need, getting dashboards, so everything he order is subscription based, but he never touched the infrastructure. So just pay a fee, and then based on, of course, we also using AI. If you, for example, if you onboard a new customer, so you're getting the workflow, a new customer just try to express what he needs. For example, I'm coming from a high regulated area, critical infrastructure. I need this certificate because we're in Europe, we are high regulated, and for us it's like, okay, get it. The AI try to fetch a lot of information and then predict for him the right cloud. For example, if you are high regulated, it makes sense to running on a sovereign cloud in Europe because, for example, like OTC on our TCP, because they have a lot of testers. So you can say the infrastructure, the cloud have everything you need. So then also our stack is also certified, like from the BSI, C5 Type 2, and all the stuff I don't like. But yeah, this is business, this is regulation. And then you can say, okay, now if I'm deploying my application, the underlayer is already certified. Your stake is certified, so it's very easy for me to get my application certified and so on. And this is what we are trying to do. This is how we interface with the customer. So it's not like a managed service, but the customer don't need to take care of the infrastructure. But because we are having a team on it, we have a lot of automatization. But the interface, it's like a portal for subscription-based dashboards, and he can manage everything. It's not like you're having a contract and you can never, I mean, it's like for 6 months and it's very difficult to change. This is what we try to build because most of our customers are enterprise coming from different areas and they don't have the platform team or don't have the main power, and they want to having like just focus on their business and build the application. And this works very well for us. Since 6 years now, I mean, yeah, 2019, yeah, something about 4 or 5 years now, CloudOps exist, and so we involving. I hope this is a little bit clear. So we are
I
not
mean,
doing this
I'm
fancy
curious then
portal
to
stuff.
like
Mhm.
to zoom in on that point you talked about, like the problems facing the organization. You've worked in platform engineering for a while. I mean, of course, we'll particularly talk about a set environment. You guys are very focused on kind of Germany and DACH and around that.
Mhm.
But platform engineering problems are platform engineering problems globally.
Yes.
I'd love to kind of go through like what are the problems that you spot most frequently, and how are you thinking about approaching them?
Mhm. Uh, let's take the AI topic a little bit aside. I guess we will jump to it because we have a lot of challenge with AI. But if you don't have the AI, we have, of course, the regulation part and also not such the regulation part. Every country, every different governments, different regulation, but we have them all. This is what you need to handle. This is the one challenge we have. And the other challenge is now with the market. A lot of customers doesn't hire a lot of juniors. We see also a gap that is very difficult for juniors now to step into the market. It's also very difficult for us to hire them because at the end of the day, we're working for customers. In the most cases, the customers want senior engineers, so it's for us very difficult to hire them. It's also a challenge now. In the past, it was like 3, 4 years ago, we could hire more juniors because now I have the feeling that the customer thinks and another one, so we can replace a lot of juniors just with AI workflows. And this is really tough. Also, I have a lot of colleagues of mine now who have a bachelor degree, master degree, and they say, this is a really tough time now. The people with the bachelor degree now starting master degree to don't waste time and just waiting what happening in the next years. This is also a challenge I see. We have this part, and also another challenge. I guess this will also hit the market because in 5 or 10 years we have this baby boomer generation. They will retire, and then we have a gap on the market. And if we don't now onboard the juniors and educate them, having just the seniors, it's become very difficult. And also the seniors becoming picky. With picky, I mean they say we don't want in 5 years working full time. We want to getting an increase of our salary and then just working part time. And this is, I mean, we have this baby boomer going away, so we have a gap on the market. Then we don't educate the juniors, and then also the seniors say we don't want working full time. It's for us, it's like, okay, now we need to work at this platform engineering area with more automatization, but with more boundaries. I mean, maybe with AI, maybe with our AI, we're also using a lot of stuff or with AI at the moment, which helps us. Like I say, for example, if you have a tenant or if we have some contracts, everything is now by us managed for AI because we have an AI department with about 10 or 12 people, and the most of them have PhDs, so not this blockchain engineers change to Gen AI, but the engineers who coming with the math background, machine learning, deep learning, and then Gen AI is of course part of it. So we try also to compensate a lot of it. This is what I see the change, not just only on the platform engineering part, but also how you also onboard new customer and so on and so on. This is the area where we are now fighting a little bit.
I mean, I think that's somewhere where we should probably just jump straight to. I mean, both of us before this were talking a lot about some of the AI stuff in relation to OpenClaw, some of the things that are going on, especially for us in the platform engineering space, are increasingly more relevant. There's a reason why everybody is suddenly excited about platform engineering, and it is because of the AI story. I was at
Mhm.
AWS reInvent towards the end of last year, and I mean, I felt like the most popular person in the world. Suddenly, everybody wanted to talk to me. I have people from AWS chasing me down. I had people from Microsoft chasing me down, from Broadcom. Amazing conversations, great people. But I was like, oh my God, everyone wants to talk to me because this understanding, we've seen the research from Dora, our own report, which I co-authored, the state of
Mm,
AI and platform engineering, clearly laying it out fundamentally. If you want AI to succeed, you need that platform layer beneath it. And I think the OpenClaw stuff that we were talking about just before is a really fantastic example about that. So I'd love maybe if you could just run through the audience some of the stuff you prepared, some of the stuff we talked about. Um,
with the open cloud part.
yeah, with the OpenClaw
Yes,
platform.
let's before we jumping on it, let's a little bit also just 3 or 4 minutes speaking about what the challenges are before we're jumping to the
Sure.
agent part, the agentic
Sure.
software defined. And for example, if we are now, I mean, also this is one challenge. For example, if you're building a platform with scale, and we want to use AI or to introduce it. In the past, it was like, I mean, it was very easy because it was a lot of senior engineers were working on it. And now we are also seeing, not just only for the platform, we have these 2 terms. I'm call it 2 terms. I don't know if they're officially one. We have vibe coding. Everyone from us is familiar with vibe coding. It's just, I don't know, AI defines software, application, not infrastructure. And then I make a difference. I call it also vibe ops, AI defined infrastructure, what's happening now. And now if we are building a platform, the challenge is, for example, if we vibe code software as a platform engineer, for example, as me, if I vibe software, it's okay because the foundation, the ground, if we build this platform really with a lot of constraints, with a lot of compliance, with a lot of tests, and I'm putting an unsecure vibe coded AI software, and the developers laugh at us about the quality, it's not great, but it's okay because we have this ground which will try to secure it and not allow to run the application. But now what we are seeing with this white ops part, also that a lot of junior developer, also senior developer, try to vibe ops infrastructure. And this is very critical in part of platform engineering because they now created platforms like we create unsecure software. They now created like unsecure ground. And this has become very dangerous because at the end of the day, if your software is bulletproof, but you're exposed through vibe ops, your infrastructure or your platform, however you call it, to the outside and it's insecure, so it doesn't matter what you have on top of it. And this is what I also see as a challenge. And this happening, especially by, and then we are jumping to the agentic part, why it is happening or why I think it is happening. Because if we are trying to vibe ops infrastructure, we have this problem or this challenge. We, in the most cases, if we have Kubernetes, we have third-party tools we are relying on. I don't know, managing DNS, managing certificates, and so on. They are provided as Helm charts. Helm charts is a package manager which provides you so you can configure it. So we create like a catalog, put different tools on it, and deploy it. But the challenge is now we need to overlay it. And we overlay it with some cascadation. It's called Helm umbrella charts. So we're putting like different third-party tools into one umbrella and putting some values we needed for every cluster. So we have a sprawl of config, a lot of overlays. And if you are using AI in this area, it's very difficult because AI can see all this layer and the developer getting really bad answers. So they're creating a really unsecure infrastructure. This is why I experienced it. If you compare it also, Dash Zero did this observability course. You can see if you have an agent zero, they call it, to remember it right. If you have plain data like logs, they have metrics, logs, traces, profiles, and so on, and the AI can see it, you can ask it. And in the ops area, building platform, we don't have it because of this a lot of layer. This is we can't avoid it. This is how the things work. And you can see if you, for example, using plain manifest, or it's called hydration. So you remove all these layers, or yeah, it's called in the most cases hydration or generated, and you generate the plain manifest and giving it to the AI as a junior developer and ask some, I don't know, is this wrong? Is there best practices aligned on it? Then you will getting a really nice answer compared to this cascadation. And but the problem is that the developer using this a lot of Helm umbrella charts and getting a lot of different stuff that is working not very well. And I mean, I saw a lot of infrastructure with depends on how AI is also poisoned because you have also this a lot of people on GitHub and also on Reddit and so on. They try also to inject some poison stuff or bad practices if they learned on it, and it will be integrated in your infrastructure. And this is where I see, before we jump into the agentic part, if you even use agents later for that, if you don't have clear data, plain data, your agent will create similar bad infrastructure like you are now doing with prompting. And this is where I see also a huge challenge, especially if you're going at scale, managing 100 cluster, you have too many overlays. And but if you have solved this problem, if you have hydrated resource observability, then you can create your agents, and then you can create it also. I don't remember it right, but I guess it's called agentic coding. It means something like you are not vibe coding anymore. So you give instruction to your agents or to your fleet of agent, and you just giving instruction, and the agent will code the application for you. And this is also, I guess, what making OpenCloud, or it's called, now it's OpenCloud. They rename it to multiple times.
They renamed it 3 times. Makes it very confusing for having a conversation around it. I mean,
it started as a go for it. Sorry.
I think the interesting thing when looking at like vibe coding versus vibe ops, and the levels of risk and the levels of availability, and it's the thing is like the genie is out of the bottle for what we think we can do. And so obviously, I think most of our organizations and most organizations we work with have this culture now of I'll just AIify everything. Figure out any place, any solution, anything you can use AI for. And there's a lot of stuff that is amazing. I mean, the thing that I'm starting to see, like you just kind of hinted at, more than vibe coding, the actual like next step agentic coding, where well, it's actually, it's the CEO of a major company vibe coding their own micro apps. Now, they don't actually know anything about code. So all they're doing is just saying like, hey, I really want to have a dashboard where I can track these things in relation to this stuff that I want to do. They would never get development time to do it. They would never even bother. They never even think to ask. They don't even know how to articulate really what they want. But now they can just do it in a prompt, and they can get it.
And this works. I mean,
it works.
Lovable has proved it. I mean, Lovable is one of the most tools I'm seeing now used because you can create your mockup. And it's also agentic. We are coming, I mean, at the end of the day, we are coming to agentic because they're also using like agents. You're just giving a prompt. I don't know. I want to having a website for selling tickets or something like this, giving some color. And then the agent started to work, doing screenshots, analyze it, and so on until the agent is happy, and then you can of course enter and you can also doing. But this is I also see that it's enable a lot of especially a lot of C-level people and also a lot of architects. No, they don't need to rely now on external designer, UI, UX, because they can create now the mockups how they need it. And now this is also what I see from different customers. They're going from weeks to hours or to minutes sometimes to create a mockup. This mockup is, I mean, not looking at the code, but to express what they have in their head and showing to the developer and say, this is what we want and this is what we wanted. This is, this reduces a lot of position between it. Bad for the market because they now need to, be creative and try to finding another roles. But this is normal, I guess, if something hitting the market, every role change or involved. I guess this is like we also talked.
It's evolution. I mean, we before this call talked about like the evolutionary chain of this is the type of tool or this is the type of workflow or this is the process we think of, agile and waterfall and dev, like or even cultural changes go through evolution, just like technology goes through evolution. And we're seeing the same thing. And I think the way AI reshapes a lot of the way that we work. And there's been a massive democratization of the ability to vibe code one's own like kind of micro apps all across the organization. But then to go back to what you were talking about just before, the risk element, like how can you trust, especially when you're talking about, okay, rather than just maybe a web page or a web page mockup, but like an actual app, an app that's integrated into our systems as a retailer, generating shirt designs to be connected to here and then get sold automatically. There's a lot of interconnections. There's a lot of risks. There's a lot of things that the AI might go off and just do. And I think, that's where the platform engineer comes in to make sure this is all safe.
Yeah, this is also what now makes us more, for example, responsible for building a secure platform, because in the past, and then we were jumping to OpenClaw, so it's maybe easier to understand if we have some examples why it's so dangerous. and also why Peter Steinberger say it's a hobby project. It's never was meant to running on production. It's still work in progress. But yeah, but I guess this is also now for platforms. I mean, in the past it was like if you have an unsecured software or you build something, it's like you can predict it. It's very difficult. I mean, if you're a attacker or something like this, they just first to need to explore your CVEs or your vulnerabilities or something like this to get in the systems. And now what we are doing, it's like we have this bots or agentic AI in the system already. So we need to like isolate them or create like stronger boundaries because OpenClaw shows, or I guess if I remember it right, it started with CloudBot and then they rename it to MoldBot and then it's now OpenClaw, shows the ability of agentic AI in a gold mode on a local machine. And I was listening to the podcast from Peter Steinberger, who knows who, if you don't know now who is Peter Steinberger, you will. They're getting now acquired about for 100 million from OpenAI. So yeah, it's a great engineer from Austria. And I know him from his other projects. And he was like, he's retired. And then he said, oh, AI sounds interesting. And then he's coming back. And now he built something really, really crazy and really, really amazing. This open cloud thing. It's here, you can imagine like it's like an agents. Or you can create your own agents in a really easy way. And you can say, you can combine it with WhatsApp or Telegram or whatever. And then you can say, please, for example, if I have a challenge or if I have a problem, you're writing a WhatsApp message and then the agent will solve it, writing emails for you. I don't know, coding for you, everything you can imagine. It's like your personal assistant on it. And this is what it's making very dangerous because a lot of people starting to run it and also like in a gold mode on the local machines or even in the production platform, giving the keys to everything. And even if you don't giving the key, they might find out, they might search for it and get the access what they need. And this is also AI cycle. It's really extremely short based on this agent compared to what we have experienced in the past. And let's take a look again at the example from OpenClaw. I remember from it was, I guess, Y Combinator podcast with Peter Steinberger. And it was like, I was not impressed about the fast exit, to be honest, because AI is crazy. You never know, something you build today. But giving you some numbers so you understand what also amazed me, for example, what I mean with crazy speed. We have Kubernetes. Kubernetes is one of the biggest projects after Linux. It's hitting now in June to 12 years, and it's having on GitHub about 120 stars. After OpenCloud or CloudBot or however you call it was released, it's hitting in weeks over 100k stars and having now over 200k. So his speeds is really, really crazy what's happening. And also what also shocked me about his story, he told in his story, he was like, if I remember it right, like he was at Morocco at a wedding and he have a poor internet connection. So he was like, he has his own agents and he was like, okay, I have a problem. I can't use the internet. I can use another one. I'm just writing a message because message, I think it was WhatsApp. Maybe it was another one. And he was like, I just ask my agent or I ask my bot what is running or what I need. And then the bot starting to figure out, the bot find an old file and sent it to him. He forgot about it. And he say, here's a file. He gave him this answer. And he was like, oh, crazy. But how you find out this and other stuff? And the bot says, I found an OpenAI key or another key to a cloud or to an API. And then I used it, fetch this information. And it was like, okay, crazy. So it's unpredictable. It was amazing to see it. And the answer was really, really good. But you can see if you give a agentic bot a lot of like the master key to your system. He didn't did it because Peter Steinberger knows how it works. He have also some files, he called it like mined, he closed it. And also if you try to hijack his bots, it doesn't work. It will not reply to you, even if it's public on Discord, if I remember it right. Yeah, of course, you should check it out, this podcast or another one. It's really amazing what's happening there. But people are starting to use it and running with like root mod or gold mod in their machines. And you can see what can happening. And this is very dangerous because it's also not just can only happening in a your local machine. It's worse because on the most cases, the most engineers having keys to different customer production systems. So your agents can get it and can do whatever you like, whatever they like, not whatever you like in the most cases. And so Yeah, this is what happening with this part, and now we can see, and also to remind you, he also created a post on X and tell something. Please don't use it in production, even if you don't have an engineering background, because this was a hobby project, and a lot of people are starting and say OpenClaw is unsecure, and a lot of people in research, and he say, yeah, it's true. But it's never was mentioned that you're using in production. It was a hobby project I built for me. I like multiply myself to different agents that are now coding for me, doing my task, writing emails, and so on and so on. And you starting to do it for everything. And it was like, and as you can see, this speed hits the platform engineering area, so we needed to react it. And Docker, for example, reacted pretty fast and to say, we have a way, and also another companies I'm working with like clusters, say we have this multi-tenancy approach. We can just, for example, you can run your agent like an isolated environments with less permissions, so you can try to see and gain experience. Because like this Morocco story will hopefully remind you, the agent is smart and it's really nice what has figured out. But in some cases, you have also another stories. We also heard about something like that some agents, for example, try, after this OpenClaw part started, then the agents created like a platform where you have millions of agents talking to each other. This is also happening. So you can see already agents having like not intelligence, but they're doing some stuff unpredictable. And they also, what also impressed me in this part, it was like the agent created or a new site was created, render human. I don't know if you heard about it, Sam, but the agent then say, okay, I getting I don't know how you call it, my customer or the people who built me wanted now to ask me what is in the string or what ingredients are inside the strings. I don't have answer in the internet, so they rent a human going to the shop, pay him, buy the string, provide it to the agent, so the agent can say to the person who built it or who asked him on the messenger, hey, this is the ingredients. And I mean, this is a funny and easy way, but you can also think about it if the agent getting access to your, for example, to your machine and also to your platform and things happening and the agent don't like it, it's also happening. The agent can encrypt your whole disk or your platform and blackmail you. And we have already some use cases on the internet. You can research it for that the agent already try to blackmail some people. And also another story going now viral last week on Reddit, if I remember it right. It was like if I'm you need. I mean, it's not bulletproof everything I'm saying here. So do your research. Don't trust me. Don't trust AI. But it was like an agent was created a pull request, and the code was really nice. Everything was great, but it was rejected because it's not coming from a human. It was detected. Even everything was correct. So then the AI agent wrote and published hit his target on the developer after the PS was rejected and make it public. And it was like, okay, maybe it is going too far. And now you can imagine what we have to fight now as platform engineers if the developer, for example, try also because it's easy to manage infrastructure and to deploy things like the agents that are never meant to running in production. Again, reference to the tweet, or I don't know how you call it today. If you tweet something on X, is it still tweet or not? So yeah, his post. This was never mentioned for production, and they need improvement. But the market is faster than we can react, and
And
this
you
is,
can
I
see, I
think,
mean, you can see exactly how that is reflected. Like, of course, the market is like that within a platform team. You know, someone might come up with kind of an AI use case or spin up their own kind of model or self-built model or some kind of open source model or use case they're using, and then think, okay, well, this is fine because I'm just testing this thing, or it works for this, or it's closed off in this environment. And then someone else thinks, oh, that's awesome for my thing, I'm going to use it, with no sense or thought about maybe it's actually super shaky. It was just quickly put together for this one specific case, puts it and unleashes it into somewhere else. And so we do need to be really thoughtful about how this kind of works within the individual team. Because through like all of that, yes, there's like technical things in there, but really most of the challenge is kind of the human cultural problems. It's human beings not really being secure and thoughtful and careful. And it's why so many of these like platform engineering concepts, you know, secure by design, like you should be thinking secure by design, that you are from the very beginning assuming this agent is going to try and blow everything up. So I need to make sure that it's impossible for the agent to blow everything up. And I have so many examples of things like this. I was talking to a friend of mine who works at quite a large organization in the US, and they had built some really fantastic kind of agentic interconnection. A developer kind of, I don't know, for fun, I guess, asked it, what does the future of our company look like? And the agent replied, well, this, bum, 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 source, the last board meeting notes, secret board meeting, notes taken by AI note taker. AI note taker accidentally filed it into a certain database. Now this person has kind of built these things to be interconnected so that it can go and grab everything. And now, oh, all of a sudden, all of these kind of not necessarily secret, but closed off notes and communications exposed to everyone. So we really need to be thoughtful, and I think it's a big part of the responsibility of the platform team. And it's why so many teams now, or in so many organizations, AI is starting to fall within the remit of the platform engineer. In our state of platform engineering, our state of AI and platform engineering report, we asked, are you responsible for AI experimentation? Are you responsible for the AI within your organization? About 30% of cases, they were, for very good reason. Platform engineers, this is our bread and butter. This is the stuff that we're good with. I want to thank you so much, Artem, for sharing all of this with me. I am super excited. I could talk for 4 hours. I think maybe once we
Same
do
here. I
more of
mean,
these.
thank you for having me here, and it will be exciting. And honestly, I don't know where the journey will go, but yeah,
Yeah,
we need to react some kind. So
yeah, yeah. And I
let's just enjoy the journey and see what happens.
I think for those of you listening, this has been a bit of an ad hoc one because we're really in the messy frontier right now. It's just exciting, interesting, cool stuff that's happening. We don't know what 6 months from now is going to look like, but what we do know, there'll be a lot of challenges, there'll be a lot of exciting stuff. But really, at the end of the day, the fundamentals of platform engineering are extremely key, no matter what happens. So I want to thank you so much, Artem, for joining me, and this was super, super, super awesome. And thanks everybody for watching. Bye, everybody.
Thank you, everybody. Bye.